Yeah, does anyone have any thoughts, any feelings?
You got it, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So first, I want to say, go back to your name, Sage El Cesar, or Sage El Cesar. Sorry, I can't even say it right now. But it's a fire ass name. So I just want to let you know that.
It's Sage, Gabriel, Carlos,
Damn.
Atreyu, El Cesar.
Damn.
Atreyu, like from Never Ending Story, the movie.
Yo.
Damn.
Damn.
Okay. It made it
Yes.
even better. But to go back to what you were saying about discipline, and I think just collectively what we've been talking about, for me, kind of navigating, dealing with like self care in regards to like these overarching like systems that are like violent and are like oppressing us and stuff. But then also at the same time trying to unlearn these things. I've been trying to navigate like what's real and what's not real in the sense of like, trying to navigate like capitalism and like, landlords and bosses and like still wanting to do like organizing and like liberating work, but just being tired. And so, when I'm tired in my head, I'm like, okay, to resist capitalism is to like rest and to like, not try to kind of keep up with the rat race and things of that nature. But at the same time, you also have to do the work for like liberation. And then also in this like kind of liberation work, because we've been kind of conditioned with like all of these capitalistic, ways of thinking, patriarchal, da da da, it also seeps into like our ways of thinking and like liberating work. And so, like to go back to what I was saying of like trying to figure out what's real and what's fake. I'm trying to find like what's that balance of like being disciplined. So like, when is it the time I need to like quote unquote push myself and be like, no, I need to get up, I need to do this thing. In the sense of like this is actually real. This is like that is the decolonized kind of way of thinking of like doing the liberating work. And then when is it like whereas like no, it's okay to like sleep and rest and like move away from like the fake stuff. So I hope that makes sense. But like trying to find the balance of like doing the self care work that's actually real and that like works to liberating work that requires discipline, and understanding when it's like this is fake shit. Do what you gotta do. Take that rest. Watch that show. Whatever.
Thank you for that.
Thank
That's
you.
a great question. Yeah. I have some thoughts. Yeah, because I did, I guess you could call it movement work for years. And I actually had a very unhealthy relationship with work. I was a workaholic. I worked to cope with inner turmoil. That's what I did. And I did a lot of things. I like society kind of rewards certain kinds of mental illness. It's really interesting. But what I would say is I think it's important to make it really concrete. So I think what works for you is going to be contingent on what exactly your like organizational focus is, if that makes sense. Let's say you are trying to secure land and you're trying to start some type of intentional community, for example. Some of the initial steps in that are just around building relationships and building trust with people, right? So when you think concretely, okay, like how do I get to know people? How do I build trust? Those things are different than, let's say, oh, I'm working with this local tenants union and we have this campaign that we're pressing really hard on and we have to do it by this deadline in order to push back the private real estate company. It's going to be different depending on like what you're zeroed in on and focused on. But I think you would agree, both of you would agree, that the health stuff and taking care of yourself baseline that has to be like fundamental, And I know for myself, I didn't take care of myself because I actually operated from such a moralistic place. I had a martyrdom sort of complex. I felt like I had to give absolutely everything within me every single day, every single second, because of the advantages that I had or the privileges that I had. But we know what happens when you're gonna burn out and the work is gonna suffer, organizations degrade. So I wanna give them time to respond, but that's my response to that question.
I think I was more or less going to say the same thing. Just set your boundaries before they set themselves.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Because I think I've learned this maybe through personal stuff more than through organizing stuff. I don't want to discount what we've done as organizing, but I don't really think of it that way. But
people would classify it that way. But I think it's a holistic.
I don't really think
more.
Of it.
Yeah, that's another conversation.
Yeah, but I just think I've run into the experience of sort of wanting to prove that I belong in a space like this that I think like outside looking in might be viewed as like cool or like aesthetically like there's a nostalgia factor. People talk about. It looks like Toonami. It looks like PlayStation shit. Like I'm just reading YouTube comments. But like, I think in an environment like this where like, outside looking in, it looks like a cool place to be. You want to like be the guy who everybody needs, and you want to be the guy that's there for every little thing, and you want to be like, I think like when we started this, I really felt like I burned myself out in a lot of ways because I wanted to. Like feel like I was supposed to be here, and I think it gave me in a similar sense to Z. Like when we first started this, I was writing for TV. I had more money than I've ever had in my life, and more money than I have right now. And so I put a lot of money into the project, thinking like, okay, that's gonna, solidify my place. And then it also created a complex of like, well, am I just the money guy? And like, I think if I just said to myself, like, let me just give what I'm capable of giving, what is sustainable for me, and what is like not trying to interject more than I'm really capable of and not overextend myself, so that I don't end up in a position where now I'm lashing out at the thing that I helped to create. And lashing out at like, in a broader organizational context, lashing out at things that I could address in a collected way. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people want to meet the situation we're in with just violence, just sort of like uncritical violence, which I think is cute and cool in a fetishy kind of way, but it's like, is that really the solution to the problem that's ahead of you? Is that really the most pertinent thing in front of us is go out and like get some guns and shoot some billionaires?
Can I quote
it's funny. It's funny when it happens.
Can I quote Fanny?
To
what we were talking about, Fanny Shakur's.
Yeah.
She said, I want us to be more pro what the solutions are than anti what the problems are.
Yes. Yes. And
Fanny Shakur.
Yeah. But it also speaks to like once we get into this rhythm of just like reacting to everything that's going around us and thinking like, I have to do something. I think that's the situation they want to catch us up in, is like feeling like, oh, I got to do something, and we don't know what the something is, and we just go outside and just stand. and
that goes to my make it concrete,
Yeah.
Think very concrete. And it also, and it ties back to the values thing
thinking
too.
about the niggas crumping. Remember when they're like crumping for like George Floyd, was it?
Two for two on mentioning
that.
crumping.
Yeah. And Zach brought that up in the
What did they were like 2015 wasn't or 2020 wasn't a real year, so kind of got off though. I can't lie.
Yeah.
2 for 2.
2 for 2.
No, but what is concrete is going to be informed by your core values and what you want. And there is no set right or wrong or good or bad. I have ideas about what would be nice for a world that I want to live in, and I try and share that, and I try and build a microcosm of that and let it speak for itself, But in that, you have to take care of yourself. Absolutely.